Hearn. We've just finished the Cambosis Wiley press conference today. Jake Wiley stepped in, late notice. How excited are you for this fight?
Really excited. I mean, look, I thought the Jordan fight was a good fight. You know, he's a tough man, but he's from Indonesia, doesn't speak great English. Now all of a sudden you've got a young kid from Queensland who really believes in himself. You know, I think he's kind of not offended George, but I think, you know, George is thinking, well, you don't disrespect me. Yeah, and I think that's good. And there is a lot of pressure on George for this fight. You know, everyone's talking about Richardson Hitchens, and like if you lose to, you know, one of the journalists' questions was brutal but fair. It's retirement really if you get beat by Jake Wiley, and they fancy. You know, George is right. Wiley's never boxed at this level before, and you never know till you step up. But it's a big challenge for him. But he's game and he can punch. It may be his downfall, but he will come for war on Saturday night and to try and win this fight.
Do you believe George needs to get a big statement on Jake to move on to those bigger and better
I think that, you know, George has got a great name and you know, he can get a shot at the world title, but at the same time, if you deliver a spectacular performance, everyone gets really excited about Hitchens' fight, and you know, that fight's there for him, but he's got to win on Saturday.
Skye Nicolson, Tiara Brown.
Great, yeah.
We just seen their face-off. No handshake there whatsoever.
No.
I just want to know your reaction to that.
Yeah, like Tiara's a bit mixed, really. You know, some head-to-head she's been quite respectful, but I think this is her. She's firing herself up. You know, I think she's got a lot of frustration over never getting an opportunity, and now she's got it, and she wants to try and, I don't know whether some of it's mind games or whatever, but Skye's pretty calm with it. I mean, she's never experienced this before, which is great, and this is a real tough fight. 12-0, 18-0, I think it's the best fight in the featherweight division, but I believe Skye is the best in the division, and if she is, she'll win on Saturday night. If she's not, she's going to have a very tough night's work against Tiara Brown, but I believe the quality and skill of Skye Nicolson will shine through.
Now, what will be the next step for Skye, assuming she is to get past Tiara this weekend?
Unifications. You know, she's, you know, the whole mantra is future undisputed. That's the dream of any professional, is to win all the belts. So she's got to get through Saturday night first, and if she does, move on and try and capture the other belts in the division.
Now, Nina Hughes, Shanika Johnson, they will be rematching.
Yeah, that'll be a war. Yeah, I mean, I think that those fights where those styles mix so well, they're so competitive. And I think it's going to be another kind of 6-4 kind of fight. So you've got to find a way to go out there and try and dominate. You know, and both of those should just go at it from the first bell. I think that's going to be the best for them. I think it'll be a war.
How did you see that first fight go down?
Again, like so many of those, like whether it's Taylor Serrano, whether it's Ryan against Mayer, when it's those kind of styles, it's very difficult to choose a winner. You know, when the decision was announced, it was that kind of fight where I thought, oh, fair enough. And then obviously 2 seconds later, they reversed it the other way, and then you go, oh, fair enough. Like, both girls think they won that fight, and it's going to be another close fight on Saturday.
Now, this is your second card in Australia of the year. How many times can we expect you to bring the Matchroom promotion down
Well,
here?
we're going to announce another show on Friday in May, so that'll be 3 in the first 5 months, which is, you know, we're on track for 5 to 6 this year. Would be nice, and you know, in time as the DAZN and the Foxtel relationship evolves, we hope we can bring a dozen shows a year here. You know, I think that's what we need to do if we're going to really, you know, push the sport in the way we need to. I think you've got so many great fighters, like, and they're all up for fighting each other. That's the thing. Like, look at Jake Wiley. You know, my joke about him not receiving a purse on Saturday night, he would have fought for no money because of the opportunity. And I love the fact that you can make great fights between Australian fighters because they're just dying for the opportunity.
Well, do you think it's a very similar situation to, say, Josh Padley with Shakur Stevenson?
Yeah, for sure. Like, you know, I mean, that was different because it was Riyadh season. There was a lot of money. But if you're ready, like, the great thing about Jake was he's ready to fight in 2 weeks' time. Shout out to Matt Rose. You know, he allowed him to take this opportunity, which was right, but not everybody gives you that, you know, that pleasure. So Jake's like, you know, when I asked Steve Della and those guys, they really fancied the fight. They weren't going, oh, well, it's a tough fight, what's the money? He went, mate, he's all over that. Oh, what's the money, by the way? And I went, oh, so-and-so, yeah, we're in. I was like, oh, actually, no, it's less. You know, like, but that's why, you know, he's for real and he's coming to win.
That's it. Thank you for your time,
Cheers,